This program is sponsored by Rockview University.
The Mulungushi International Conference Center, an iconic feature of the greater city of Lusaka. This here is where the African Union, AU, was born. The switch from Organization of African Unity, AOU, to African Union. This is a very important place because it hosts big functions or big conferences involving the African continent, Zambia not spared as well. Important it is. Today, it is playing host to innovation, creative minds that are featuring on the Zambian Genius. We are never too smart. So when we are smart, smart things are happening. Innovation and innovators are a part of this, let's call it some kind of a conference, smart people all over. Yes, innovators are smart people and smart displays, as you can see. We'll be talking to one or two. But before we start talking to whoever has got some innovation here, we bumped into, remember, the first episode of the Zambian Genius, Joseph Lungu.
Oh, thank you.
Joamo. You know that car, the Ferrari kind of thing. Yeah. Tell us the impression of what you've seen here.
So far so good. I've seen innovative ideas here. Yes, in Zambia we have brilliant ideas. We have youths that can change the face of this nation. Yes, through innovation.
Can you specify anything, any innovation that you've seen, if you can remember what it is all about and it caught your attention?
There are a number of them. There's one for students with a quick student link, which is able to link a student and a lecturer. It's one of a good platform for students. And other innovations, a number of innovations, electrical innovations for my young brother, which is there. The future for Zambia is bright.
Yes. In terms of technology.
Yes.
How is the vehicle doing? How is our car?
Our car, now you can drive it at that high speed that you want. Okay. Yes.
That's nice. What do you hope to do now? The project has been known countrywide. What do you hope to do? What's next?
The next invention, which will be coupled with the same vehicle, we are going to use other alternative energy, which is cheaper, and want to move away from petrol, diesel. As you are aware, petrol and diesel is becoming expensive. And 10 years later from now, no one will use this current energy. So we want to use something which is cheap. Yes.
Joseph, it's always a pleasure to bump into you.
Oh, thanks very much.
So the first episode of the Zambian Genius, or the Zambian Genius in general, started with this character. That time around, they had a vehicle. It's now running. You have seen the story all over, and we appreciate that you've received it with both arms. International media did, at some point, cover them, which shows that Zambian technology and engineers are destined for global recognition. We are hanging out with creative minds for today on the Zambian Genius. We pride ourselves with the best mines in Zambia. Sir, I'm Samuel Machishi.
Nice to meet you. I'm Daniel Ngandu.
And Kelvin Tembo and Mr. Ngandu.
Yes, sir.
You are within Lusaka,
Yes, sir.
exhibiting.
Yes, sir.
What do we have here?
Okay, so what we have here is a system called Smart Bus. So the aim of the system is to change public transportation in Zambia. Our main focus is the big buses. So we plan to offer tracking solutions to bus operators. Now, the good part is that on the user's end, the customers, is that you are able to track your loved one on a particular bus. So now, when someone buys a ticket, we plan that that ticket will have a bus ID number there. And as the bus is moving between 2 points, for instance, Lusaka to Kitwe, you can be able to see in real time on a device. So,
Who am I seeing? The bus or the person?
So you are seeing the bus in real time on a map. So this is the app. So you would put in a number, a bus ID number of that particular bus, and you would have something like this. So for instance, the last time we tested we were at school. So we mapped out 2 positions, position A and B. So
That's
A,
the Copperbelt University?
yes.
Okay.
So point A, for instance, is Lusaka, and this is Kitwe. So the dot will move in between 2 points. You are seeing this, sir? So there will even be information like the trip duration. So it took 2 minutes for us to move between these.
Okay.
So this is how it would also look. This is how it would also look. So in future, we plan that you could reserve seats also, where you could put in where you're from, where you're going, and submit, and you could be able to choose a particular seat.
In advance?
In advance,
From
yes.
the comfort of your living room
From the
or
comfort-
anywhere?
Exactly, from the comfort. So you can also view your bus schedule. So if you want to get on a particular bus, you can just type in the name of the place where you... So Lusaka to Kitwe, there will be departure time and departure date. Of course, this is just dummy data. Of course, this can be updated. So this data is on our server, sitting on our server. So, and the benefit of our system is that it will help those who are blind and those who are deaf. So in a bus, you have encountered that situation. You're going to a faraway place, and it's new. You have never used that route before. You don't know which station they go for 15 minutes. You don't know which station they just stop for just 2 minutes. So we plan that when you're a new person going to a particular place, the system inside, there'll be an onboard announcement system. So this system will announce when it's getting close to a particular major town, and it will say you are 20 minutes from this particular town. And when you reach that town, it will say maybe 200 meters to the station. And when you reach the station, it will be able to tell people how many minutes they can. Yes, you have arrived. Yes, you have arrived, and the bus will be stopping here for 15 minutes. So now that will help those who are blind but can hear. Now those who can't hear but can see, there is a board, an on-screen board that moves, and there is the text of the particular station that they have reached.
I think I fancy that one more than the tracking section of the department of this application. Yes. When you talk about tracking, we've got so many tracking. How different is this one?
So the difference with this one is that we're just adding service to it. So our focus is the big bus operators. The big bus operators, as it stands, they do not fancy tracking. Now this system is a system of convenience to customers. We want our travel to be nice, okay? So you are able to receive, you can check on your phone where you are.
I've gotten lost before, so this is why I fancy the other explanation as opposed to the other one, because I can imagine I've never been to Livingston and I want to get there first time. If I have this kind of a gadget, it will tell me now you are in Mazabuka and you are this far away from your location. When I'm there, it will tell me now you have arrived.
Yes.
We have arrived. Thank you so much, sir.
To most of you, this is a lunchbox, but to me, it's a wonderful power system. Now, the way it operates is like this. This system, if you were to integrate it inside your mobile phone or you put it in a laptop, it means you won't charge your laptop for more than a year. That is the same with a mobile phone or any other electronic device. So this system, it uses about 3 principles. We're talking about power electrical, electronics, and programming, particularly in the field of artificial intelligence. So what it does, there's an issue of sensing power and switching. So that's what really happens whenever you put it in your mobile phone or a laptop. It keeps the very voltage you have and sustain it for a long period of time. Now, in a business world, what we've added to this innovation is that instead of just putting it to people's electronic devices and then using them for years, we've developed a system which is a software where someone can be subscribing for power. I'll give you an example. Imagine your laptop, we put our system inside it. You need to subscribe for how many years or perhaps months you're supposed to use it. So we'll do the subscription, and then once the subscription ends, it means it will return back to its normal usage. Now we'll try to give you just a brief overview of the same, or perhaps the practical work of what we've done. So this is just a model of the BPS. Now what it does is, we have a software here, my colleague will use it to activate power so that it can be active. And we'll try to connect a mobile phone so that you can see that power has been activated and also it has been cut down due to, the expire of the subscription. So this BPS is actually wireless. What I mean is the subscription is done wireless whenever you are. You don't have to have wires for it to have access to power. As you can see here, there is no wire connected. But my colleague who is there will be able to activate this system so that he can have access to power. So the whole access of power to the period of time it's supposed to be used is the one who is operating it, who is doing the subscription. So we'll try to do it. If you look at it here, there's no power, there's no access to power. But he's going to activate it using an app. So you can activate it. Okay, so it's activated. Once I press the on switch, it's on. So if you pay close attention, you'll see that the phone is charging now. Now we'll try to end the subscription so that the phone cannot have access to power. It's off. Even if you were to press the button here, nothing can happen. But let's redo it again so that you can see what happened. So if we press here, it's charging again. But if we were to cut a subscription, nothing can happen. So that's the whole principle. If we put it in a laptop, someone out there who is in charge will control that usage of power. So if you have a 2-month subscription, it means within that period of time, you'll be able to use the BPS inside your gadget. You might be wondering, what's the difference between a normal power bank and our system, the BPS? Well, there's a very big difference. The difference is that our power system, it lasts for many years without charging, more than a year. We can talk of 10 years. So that's a very big difference. This current power system, power banks we have, it's only a few days, but ours is for years.
My name is Kakote Samson Shamiso. This is Team ICANN. We are working on a fixed wing drone, and these are my team members, Kelvin Lungu and Chitula Lukonde. Okay, so looking at the DJI, we faced a lot of challenges in terms of endurance, 15 minutes flight time, 800 meters away from the operator. So we opted to build our own fixed wing drone that can beat those limitations and also reduce on the cost. So our fixed wing drone is 100 minutes flight time. That's in terms of endurance. Then also we're looking at a range of 25 to 50 kilometers away from the operator. Then this drone will be built, the wings will be built out of fiberglass and carbon fiber. Then the housing also will be built of fiberglass. This is a scaled down model that shows what we intend to build. Our actual model will be a little bit bigger than this, but we 3D printed the housing, the fuselage, just locally last week. Then we did this just to show what we have. Then on the applications, my colleagues will shed more light on the applications of the drone.
So following from what my colleague has said, the drone that we are trying to design right now is going to have quite a number of applications. The first major application is going to be in wildlife conservation. So even in the programs and softwares that we are trying to design and implement with this drone, there's also going to be infrared camera surveillance. So it will be helping, especially in the monitoring of poachers, for instance, habitat and monitoring control, even for ZEMA and environmental protection programs. Two, also it's going to be helpful in terms of mapping. So it can be very helpful for instance, Ministry of Lands when it comes to cadastral mapping, when it comes to land and planning and development, it will be very important in terms of that surveillance. Then we're also including a part where we can use application in terms of sites, investigations, planning for any different sector that needs surveillance. Then last but not the least is agro solutions. There's this challenge of monitoring of crops in terms of destruction of crops by pests, or it can even be in terms of, let's say, water resources drying up, such as rivers and streams. With such a tool, we'll be able to monitor and surveillance at something that's affordable, using our drone as applied in the industry, in agriculture, as in the land, as in also in terms of planning and any other ministry that needs planning and surveillance.
Okay, so following up from what he's saying, so first of all, I think I'm getting the impression that what captured you is that when you hit the 50-kilometer coverage, when you're trying to cover such a distance, obviously there's a certain level of sophistication that you have to achieve when it comes to designing your ground station application. Just to give you an idea in coming up with such an architecture, these are some of the things that you're supposed to take into consideration. Things like, what will happen maybe if the bat drains at the range of 25 kilometers? What happens? So in your design implementation of the software that we have, is that we make sure that there's a component already that will make sure that the flight has to return back in case it drains along the way. Then the other aspect is that this application, it's a ground station. We're talking about 50 kilometers away. Roughly, approximately, we could say Kafue. You need a proper ground station so to monitor we are receiving video feeds from the drone to the flight mapping, so it's taking frames, then you stitch them up, and all those things have been implemented in the software that we have developed. Then the other thing is that this software will be able to run on all major platforms. I think it's very unique in that we're using we've interfaced several communication protocols to communicate with our drone. We're using Wi-Fi and radio. For short range, we're using Wi-Fi. Then for long range, we're using radio. So there is already a transmitter and a receiver. So we'll have a receiver on our end and a transmitter on the drone. So we'll be able to get important parameters for the applications that is mentioned and be able to feed them. Then from the software implementation, we'll be able to make sense and come up with the necessary parameters that we need.
All right, my name is Bright Mulengabwalia. September. My innovation is in the area of health, and I built an application in that area, and I call it Seizure Assistant. It's called Seizure Assistant because this is an application that is meant to help people living with convulsive disorders in their wide variety. However, this application will not be limited to just convulsive disorders. It will encompass a wide array of other conditions. But for starts, I am looking at convulsive disorders, and this is what it does. So the application is a health management application, an experience sharing application, as well as an SOS application for the patient. It can be used both by patients and non-patients. And it does all of these things that I've spoken of through this wide array of features that the application has. The first feature I'll talk about is the SOS feature. This is the feature that allows the patient or the person using the application to be able to get help when they are about to suffer a convulsion. If I may simplify it, convulsions could be, maybe if you think of the people living with epilepsy. So before they have an epileptic attack, they are able to get help using this application. So they do that by pushing this SOS button here. And when they push this button, the application will do three things. One, it will send an SMS to an emergency contact that the person set beforehand, telling them to say, I have suffered a seizure. I am in this particular location, with a Google Maps pin that will allow that person to be able to track that person, the patient, and provide the help that they need. Two, it will be able to play some sound to get the attention of the people around that person so that they can pay attention to this person that is now on the ground, obviously out of breath and has lost consciousness. And the third thing the application will do is launch the About Me feature on the application, which will display the person's personal information, which is the condition they have, the first aid details about that condition. This is the information that will allow the people around this person be able to offer help to this person. Not the very rumors that we hear, the various rumors that we hear in our country to say when you find somebody epileptic, they're on the floor, no, put a sock on their mouth, put a shoe on their mouth, and all of these things. The application here will give you the actual health tips that will allow you to provide the help that this person needs. So you will find the emergency contacts details here, their name, their relation to the patient, their phone number, and through the application here, you can directly dial this emergency contact right from the application. And other than dialing them, you can also send an SMS just by pressing that button. And by you, I'm referring to the people that are attending to this patient that they have now found on the ground. And if you scroll through this list, you'll be able to see the actual condition name that the patient has, the first aid details here, where you'll be able to read, make the patient calm and comfortable, roll them on their side, and all of these things. And you'll be able to also access the actual details of the condition. This was included so that we get rid of some of these notions that people have, that when they see somebody convulsing, then ningulu, they've got demons, they've got all of that stuff. These are actual medical conditions, People fail to accept that lungs can be sick and even the brain can be sick. This is just a brain condition, and the details of this condition are listed on this application. So this is one feature that will allow the patients to get help from the people around that person. So the other features on this application include conditions. This will allow the person to be able to read more about the condition that they have, gets to know whether it's treatable, the first aid details, so that they can share with the people they are living with, and all of that stuff. So the other features on the application are seen here: diary, inventory reminder, tips, and meetups. These features all come together to ensure that the patient has the best from this application, get help from other people on the platform, and also introduce them to a wide array of things that will help them manage the condition. I myself am a patient, and this is an innovation I built to speak to other patients, to tell them you can do whatever it is that you dream of doing. And if I did it, you can do it too. So dream big and pursue your dreams as well. Do not let your condition hinder you.
And how are you?